Welcome to the first lesson in the Introduction to SME Lending course. In this course, we're going to focus on understanding an SME and explore some of the best ways to assess and to lend to them by looking into the definitions of an SME, the common characteristics of an SME, the Kenyan SME market, the best practices of SME lending, and how you can conduct a business assessment on your SME clients. Knowing your customer is key for any business endeavor. Successful bankers understand what their customers want and the most effective way of making their product or service available. The depth of knowledge is also crucial. It requires knowing more than their names, type of business, and annual sales. As a banker, knowing your customer's business environment, operational structure, and challenges can be an advantage. Banks that understand their customers and what they expect can also work on customizing the customer experience to create loyalty and repeat business. At the end of this course, you will be able to focus on the best ways to lend to your SME customers. Let's get started. In this video, we are going to look at the various definitions used to describe an SME. An enterprise is a business that may be privately owned and profit-oriented. A firm that can also be public and nonprofit oriented, or a company that is organized with more than one person that combines resources for the production and supply of goods and services. When it comes to classifying enterprises as micro, small, or medium, banks and financial institutions have varying definitions. One may take into consideration business characteristics such as assets, annual sales, number of employees, or rely on the loan size to define a business as either micro, small, or medium. Let us examine two examples of how the World Bank and the Micro and Small Enterprises Act of Kenya defines an SME in terms of their annual sales and number of employees. According to the World Bank survey on banking SMEs around the world, in terms of annual sales, SMEs are classified as follows. Micro businesses have annual sales of less than 10 million shillings. Small businesses have annual sales between 10 million and 300 million. And medium businesses have annual sales between 300 million to 1.5 billion shillings. In terms of employees, SMEs are classified as follows. Micro businesses have less than 10 employees. Small businesses have between 10 to 50 employees, and medium businesses have 50 to 300 employees. On the other hand, the Kenya Micro and Small Enterprises Act of 2012 defines micro and small enterprises in terms of annual sales as follows. Micro businesses have annual sales of less than 500,000 shillings. Small businesses have annual sales between 500,000 and 5 million, and medium businesses have annual sales between 5 and 800 million. In terms of employees, the definitions are as follows. Micro businesses have less than 10, small businesses have 10 to 40 employees, and medium businesses have 40 to 99 employees. From these examples, we can see that different institutions use different metrics to define SMEs. The approach you may choose depends on the objective you need a definition for. The three categories of annual sales, number of employees, and assets or balance sheet may vary between industries, which may lead to extensive lists of varying definitions in different sectors. Other criteria used to define an SME is the development phase or age of the business. This is in order to distinguish micro enterprises as early, seed, or startup phase. Definitions on this basis use the logic that companies usually require different financial products and services depending on their development, size, and complexity. With the above in mind, it is possible that everyone will have a different definition of an SME. It is important to note that using loan size as a proxy to define SMEs has a strong limitation of giving no information on the nature, development stage, and complexity of the business. Additionally, it often does not take into consideration the total debt an enterprise has in the financial system, but only an individual institution's risk with a company. Loan sizes are therefore insufficient for assessing information about a single company. As identified previously, there are various ways to define SMEs based on the use of indicators that characterize business as micro, small, and medium. So, how can we tell what an SME is despite these varying definitions and characteristics? Let us look at a case study of Minco Limited, a furniture company in Quintagela.